We're here at the ATS Elgi Pavilion here at the show. We understand you have a couple of interesting new products. Can you take us through the new products to start with?
Well, what we have seen over the years is the automobile have changed its shape. We have much more advanced engines coming in, and what comes along the engine is the other facilities that come. What we have understood that as we go forward, there is a more requirement of diagnostic equipment. People would like to know what is wrong in their vehicle and equipment telling them, and that makes them to go for the next service. And it's also important that the services that are, or features that are available in the car are fully utilized by the customer to enjoy the vehicle experience in complete. So as a result, we have come out with a touchless alignment, diagnostic equipment. And it is touchless. In 30 seconds, it tells you about the car alignment, situation. And that adds to the productivity of the workshop or to the tire shop. Because you have a tire or a vehicle that is coming inside the car, inside the workshop. And that in 30 seconds, it tells you if you can know where is the flaw. And when it helps you to quickly convince the customer, one, that you go for the service. And secondly, in terms of how do you rectify it, you know very well to begin with. Along with that, we have gone into a complete range of EV products. That's the next big thing that we are all entering into. EV adoption, though little slow in passenger car, understandably so because it's a infrastructure or this or that first. But nevertheless, most of the car companies have shown a clear roadmap to all of us how they would go into transition. And accordingly, we have been preparing for a couple of years that at the first level, what kind of equipment is required. So as you know, battery is a very critical component. And it's also a safety related thing. We are talking about 400 to 500 volts of power, that energy that is going to be there. So we have developed a battery lifter, where when the car comes for service and the battery, either it has to be replaced or it has to be repaired, there's a very simple equipment that can help in easily to remove this thing. Then most of the electric cars are using a different oil in the compressor. So the AC gas recovery machine has been modified to take care of multiple gases. Again, we didn't want to give a two separate machine. We said one machine, it can handle both. So keeping the changing scenario in automotive industry, but purely working towards an concept where we are just coming out of a COVID situation. Investments are going to be challenging always. We all have not seen tomorrow. We have only heard it is going to be better. So as a result, we have made an equipment which can do both the regular car as well as an EV car together. We have also gone into the insulated tools that is required to handle the service the EV car. So we in ATS, the reason we exist is we provide a single stop solution to entire workshop. In the journey in the quest of that, we have ventured into EV and we are complete.
Wonderful, sir. As a leader in this particular field, and also with the experience of many decades behind you, what sort of changes are you seeing in the service and maintenance sector? I mean, I'm sure there are a lot of changes that are happening for the good. What, according to you, are these changes, and how are you adapting to these changes, gearing up for these changes?
So one of the change, we live in the internet age. The customer has to be well informed. So today, if you go to dealership, as soon as you give your vehicle for service, the dealership are ready to give you what kind of service is required. You have the entire data on your WhatsApp or on your laptop, machine or mobile, and you are able to, some of the OEMs are ready to show you can see the car at what position it is. Now that kind of a transparency the system or the customer is looking forward to. And which means, in terms of equipment, first of all, a diagnosis is more important, right? We today live in an era that we cannot afford to have our vehicle break down while we are driving to something. So preemptive things are very important. And as a result, we have invested last 4-5 years in big way into let's say the diagnosis equipment. What you just see is a wheel diagnosis equipment. Prior to that, we have come out with a diagnostic equipment which can test your suspension, side slip and brake efficiency. So before your vehicle goes inside the workshop, We have supplied almost about 250 Nexa workshop with this test lane equipment where all these three data comes out in seconds. And the customer can see himself whether his brake efficiency, his suspension efficiency, is it in line or not. It leaves very little room for argument, it is required or not required. It's a machine which is no human touch required. So we are moving towards it. And it's also important because the government has recently changed the rules. Okay, we are talking about that at least today for the commercial vehicle, the rules is the fitness is valid only for 2 years. Post that you got to go to an RTO, where so far the fitness was given based on, let's say, a manual this thing. Now the government is coming out with a complete automated lane of diagnosis. It will diagnose the entire car fully and the data will go to the Vahan server and from there you will get a certificate. Only then you are fit to drive. We have invested ourselves into the entire setup. So in order to service the industry far better, I think we have stepped back into more of diagnostic equipment rather than solution. Because the more the clear and the faster diagnosis, the support to the customer in terms of resolving his issues are going to be faster. So that's the change that we're trying to bring in, kind of a thing, for our customers.
Very, very insightful. One last thing on the Auto Expo. We're here at Auto Expo 2023. The show is happening after 3 years after the pandemic.
Yes.
How has the response been? And also, what is your outlook for the year that lies ahead, sir?
Very interesting question. I think the response, to be very frank, it's very surprising. Not just the volume per se, which is very evident, the quality of customers coming in is very evident. And to us, I think the changing scenario in automotive industry in the country is a reflection of people coming here. Because during pandemic, we all have observed the used car sales have shot up like there were no cars available in the country. People are coming and taking your old car saying that you better go for a new one. Same thing in two-wheelers. And those cars are now getting serviced, right? Those cars are getting serviced in multi-brand. And largely in India, multi-brand, a very large percentage is untooled. It's just a workshop, the mechanic knows how to do it, but there's no tools required. And when the load increases is the time when he carves for it, okay? And hence we are seeing here quite a good amount of it. And I'm pretty sure this journey of Indian automotive industry is going to come, okay? Things are now moving from organized multi-brand four-wheeler to organized two-wheeler kind of, where the volume is humongous. I mean, we are the world's largest producer of that. Okay, so another thing, if you notice here in this, is the absorption of IT in India has increased tremendously. I mean, the last Auto Expo was nothing. I mean, the last to last, if you take, was the real Auto Expo. There were equipments. We also had equipment. But today you see electronics and everything. There is a data matrix, okay? There is everything, a customer, equipment and a customer, and equipment and the owner of the shop. How can it be connected? You see an evidence of this in every form of it. Not just in automotive, but everywhere. Now that's a changing scenario. I think it's time one notices this and it brings in any business. It has become a hygiene factor. If you want to survive, you got to be into it. And as a result, most of our equipment that we are coming is IoT connected. It's very simple. You can get an app and you can download everything on it. So as a car owner, you can have entire thing about yours in your app. Like what some of the medical diagnostic companies are providing you. I think we are equally moving very, very close to that. The entire history is available. 5,000 kilometers, you will get a reminder, you will get a reminder. It's becoming so simple kind of thing. So, which is very, very, encouraging for us. Because as it is, we all know, in terms of digital financialization, India is way ahead of the world.
Absolutely.
Okay, we are far, far ahead. I mean, I go to Europe, it looks like they are primitive. Okay, trust me, that's a scenario. I think a similar situation is happening in many other fields. The absorption of technology is very fast. You just don't, even a simple thing called tire pressure, like you are handling tire while you are aligning, you are handling tire while balancing, you are handling tire while tire changing. In every place they are giving you a tire pressure monitor. Digitally available, it tells you this thing. So those things have come up. It adds to the productivity and it adds to the overall ecosystem of educated customers kind of a thing. So that's very interesting observation, and we are doing already, but this encourages us to do even more in that field.